Okay, so we've gotten all the way up to this point. We need to finish off this products get IDs. So to do that, let's go over to our products model, and we're going to be adding code to this section because we're passing in an array of IDs, and we want to use that to retrieve the list of items that are currently in the cart. So the first step in that process is to convert the array that we have into a simple string of IDs separated by commas. So I'm going to create an items variable. It's going to be blank to start. Then I'm going to use a for each loop. So the ID, so this variable that gets passed in as item. And we want to add commas after every single item except for the first one. So we're going to do an if items does not equal blank string. I'm going to want items dot equals, and then we're going to add a comma like so. And I suppose to follow my style guide, I need to make sure that this is styled correctly like so. And then below that, we're going to add items dot equals item. So this will take an array of individual numbers and I'll combine it into a single string, which will look something like this. So 1, 4, 6, 3, for example. Or 7 in this case, mistyped that. So we're going to take those string of numbers, and we're going to call the database. We're going to do if result equals this database query. And we're going to select the ID, the name, description, price, and image from this DB table, where, and I'm sure you've seen things like, for example, where ID equals 1. That's pretty standard. I've used it elsewhere in this code. We're going to do something slightly different. We're going to do where ID is in, and then we're going to pass in that list of comma separated values. So in items, and then we're going to order by name. And I should be clear that in most cases, for example, this particular query below and other places in this code, I would use a prepared statement when I do this sort of query, because I'm passing in data into this query and I don't want it to accidentally cause SQL injection if someone manages to mess with the query. However, for some reason or another, MySQLi doesn't support using prepared statements when in is added in the query. So I've had to skip that side of things for now, and this code should be completely safe. We are checking to make sure that all the items that are being added to our cart variable are valid integers. They should be all items that currently exist within the database, but just to keep that in mind, that's why we're not doing a prepared statement on this particular line. Anyway, so after this query, we need to say if result num rows is larger than 0. So if we have results to display, then I'm going to do while row equals result fetch array. So this while loop is going to loop once for every single result that is returned from the database. And then I'm going to do data equals array, and I'm going to return an array for all the different items, all the information that's related to this particular product. So array, and I'm going to do ID, and I'll be row ID, and a comma, And then basically the same thing for all the other product information. So name, row name, description, row description, price, row price, and finally image, row image. So then we'll finish off our array, close that out, and this specific section of code here, if we pass in an array of IDs, it should return us an array back of all the product information for those specific IDs. So let's save this, and as the last thing in this video, let's test, hopefully catch any bugs or mistakes that I've made as I've typed this out. Probably the easiest way for me to do it is, let's go to the cart model. Down here at the bottom here, I'm going to add echo pre, just to display this on the page and test to make sure everything's working as I expect it to. Echo closing pre, and a print our products. And then I'll open it up in Chrome. Let's see what we have. Okay, so I don't believe we have any items in the cart at the moment. So let's go ahead and add an item to the cart. And looks like we have some sort of error here on products on line 51. And I believe I need to add this. There we go. So you notice we added an item to the cart. It's echoing out here the results that we get from this get function. So we know everything at all steps of the process is working properly. We're calling the createCart method within the cart object. That createCart method calls CartGet, which gets all the product information for the items that are currently in the cart. And CartGet needs to use CartGetIDs to ensure that it gets the correct IDs from the cart for the items that are currently in the cart, so it can return all the correct product data. So I can do something similar. Let's say I add a different item to the cart, and you'll notice we now have 2 items and all the correct product data for these items. So we're going to be using this information in the next video to create the individual rows in the unordered list and display them within the page.